What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great day today. I am here to do some energetic weather, and I'm really excited because this energy is some of me and Bear's major energies. So I feel like I kind of have a different type of relationship with the sun and earth gates right now. And so the sun is in 59.5, and this is a sacral energy. This is like a life vitality, and it's called the Femme Fatale Casanova. And I have this line in an open sacral. So it's really interesting for me to watch some of the projections and things that I receive. And so the exaltation, it says the power to use love to break down any barrier, the power of sexuality to attract others. And the detriment is the power of sexuality expressed as sexual power, the gigolo, the adventurous, negative potential of this power. And so the fifth line, it is a projection. And so people with this gate, they might be projected on that they're the ones that can break down the barriers to intimacy. So someone might see me and be like, that's the one that's going to break down my barriers. And maybe that's subconscious. Maybe they don't know why they're attracted to me, but that's kind of an underlying player in it. And when you're looking at the positive versus the negative, so much of it is about control. Is it love or is it control? How do we tell the difference? Like what feels like love, what feels like control? And so this gate being about breaking down barriers, we need to understand that union, love, intimacy, all of these things, like your ability to connect to self and another, it is hiding behind your sexual and emotional barriers. Okay. Any barriers to intimacy, any problems in relationships, they stem to these internal issues that we carry around. And this energy is the energy to break down those internal issues. And so it's like the sacred sacral, like what does it mean? The dynamic power of the sex drive. It's like trying to understand the essence of this energy. It's like self-love and understanding, transparency, fertility, and you can have that deep connection that results in creation. So whether that's creating a child or a business or a project, it results in creation. It's enlivening, producing life. And so something that happens here, these barriers, like what do they stop us from doing? I feel like what I notice is that when someone has a lot of barriers, they can't share what has happened with me. And that might be what happened to another, what happened to them, what happened in their life. But it's like something that happened wasn't accepted, it wasn't allowed, it was blamed on them, it was blamed on somebody else. And they're still carrying around that emotional baggage. And so you can ask yourself, do I try to hide the things that have happened to me? Am I transparent? Am I honest in my relationships? Can I be vulnerable? Like all of the things that happen in life, they happen. And so if we're going to shame ourselves for it, blame ourselves for it, clench up, feel like we were wrong, feel like life's against us, it's a totally different way of being than accepting and allowing life to be as it is and not blaming it on anybody. And when you think about it, every human stems from human intimacy, two humans coming together to produce another human. So it's really such a magical thing, this love and this intimacy. And we are so tangled in our wounds and in our words that we demonize love. Love is always good. Whether it's in a marriage or at school or business, family, community, love is always good because love allows creation. Love allows life. Like it can let it be what it is. Whereas these barriers, they stop creation. They stop life. They can't allow it to be what it is. And so this line specifically is the only line out of like 384 gates or lines or something. It's the only one that talks about love. And it's the universalization of union. So it's like this line is responsible for like romance stories, like movies, love books, poetry, all of this stuff. It's like what we want love to be, what we create love to be, what we're looking for in a partner or in a relationship. And it's projecting onto someone that they can make it work. This is the one that's going to make it work for me. This is the one that will break down the barrier. And what we have to understand is that they may be able to do that or not, because it's a projection. So you may project onto someone like, oh my gosh, I can definitely love this person. but that doesn't mean that you're going to get that back or have that barrier broken down. And so it can be like a really funny thing to live through these projection fields and see what's actually true through experience. And so the lower manifestation of this energy is dishonesty, and the highest is transparency. So I encourage you guys to all be transparent today. You have nothing to hide from yourself or another. And knowing that is coming into intimacy. We are grounded in a wave. So this is an emotional gate that we're in the earth, and it's called growth. It's 55.5. So this has the highest highs and the lowest lows. Maybe you're going through some really wavy days over these last 5 or 6 days. And the wave itself, it moves from selflessness to selfishness. So maybe in that low, things are kind of like looking scarce. You're feeling selfish. You're keeping things to yourself. You're in this like scarcity type place. And maybe at the high, it's more of like an abundance. Like, oh, I have enough to share. I feel great. Like I have this to give. And it's just a wave that will continue, to reach the top and bottom, top and bottom. And part of this gate, it says the only way to overcome distrust is through the power of seduction. And Bear and I talked about this a lot. Like, you can't overcome distrust through words. Overcoming distrust is about correct and caring actions over time. This is how you get a human to trust you. You have to show up correctly, and you have to let them see that you are what you say you are. You do what you say. You have this ability to continue through that wave and show up in a mode of growth. And because of that, there's this projection-y field, and it involves power. It's like this 55.5, it loves to be in a position of power. And I think so much of it is about the reputation. If you have a good reputation, if you are surrounded by superior forces, you are going to feel like you can be yourself, like you can be in a high or you can be in a low, because it's okay. And it's really cool because Bear is being offered kind of like a position of power. He was invited to apply for something. And this being his major sun and earth energy, it's so cool to watch it happening today. I think that position of power, it can be like a job position. It can be the way that you're perceived by your family or your friends. Like, it doesn't have to be you, like being a CEO. You getting a positive projection field from your spouse or your siblings or your parents, like that can create that can help you feel like you're in a position of power, and you have the power and the authority to be yourself. And so this gate is so interesting to me. This spirit, our reputation, our people, the friends and family around us, they really influence our spirit. And something that you can do is make sure you're surrounding yourself with the superior forces, the people who fill your cup. If you are with people who are draining your cup, maybe it's time to walk away from that relationship or have a conversation, because your spirit cannot sustain continuously being drained. And if that's happening, that is your sign to go ahead and part ways and make space in your life for new people that could possibly fill your cup. The other side of this gate, the top side, you get this like social immunity. It's like power through the people. You've built that positive reputation. You're a trusted person. You can live your life and feel good. You can use advice in innovative ways and work together with people. You can provide abundance. But the other side of this gate is about being so open that you are at risk from conditioning. So it's like your spirit being conditioned by others. And in this detriment, it's almost like you just don't have the power and authority to withstand the condemnation that you're getting from the people around you. And you feel conditioned and restrained where you're at. Like, you don't feel like you're in power. You don't feel like you're with people who are working together with you. You feel very limited and like you've been put into this little box, and you're like, what the hell? Like, how do I get out of this situation? And I feel like being in that box, it can force you to lose your transparency. Like, maybe the authority figures around you aren't accepting what has happened, or they're blaming and shaming, or they're doing things that aren't very full of integrity, and you're not really allowed to share what's happening or what you've seen. And that can be very hard. That can really be hurtful to the spirit in itself, to be forced out of your own transparency and intimacy. And so something that can really help, as always in 55, do things when you're in the mood. You know, if you're not in the mood, then don't have sex, don't eat, don't do that thing. And if you are, then do that. If you show up in social relationships right now when you're not in the mood, you might come across as disgraceful, and that can be hard, right? That can be that hit to that reputation. It can make you feel like you're less in a position of power. And so honor yourself first, honor your mood. If you're in the mood to do it, then do it. The lowest side of this energy is complaining, being a victim, and the highest side is freedom. And I think that's so beautiful, you know, the freedom to be who you are. Like, that's it. That's the destination for gate 55. 16.4, this is where the moon's at, and this is a gate that's all about skills. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 16.5, and it's called the Grinch. But I'm not going to talk about the line. I'm mostly going to talk about the gate overall, because we've been in this energy all day. And so I love this gate. It's very interesting to me. We can ask ourselves today, who has the skills and who doesn't? You know, who has the skills and who doesn't? We can project onto people that they have the skills when they really don't. And we can see people who really have the skills like they don't. And so it can be such a weird thing. And it's all about gaining skill through repetition over time. And you actually need something to be able to repeat something over time. You need to identify with what you're doing. So if I want to learn how to play the piano, I have to identify. I have to be like, yeah, I'm a piano player. I love it. You know, it's my life. I've got like piano stickers in my room. And if I'm identifying with it, I have this power to continuously show up, perfect and correct my process every day. The thing that's so hard is that there's no energy in gaining skills. And that's why it's so hard for logic to manifest. For example, a bill being passed in Congress. For how many years do we need to talk about it? How many committees need to work through it? Like, how many times do we need to map out the details and plan out the bill and present it to this person? It's like, there's no energy here. So we just daydream. We sit around and we plan and we plan and we rework the plan until boom, all of a sudden the logic is manifesting. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, finally, like we did it. We did the thing that we said we're going to do. And so it can be a deeply frustrating gate as we are waiting on this to manifest. And I love this quote. Bear gave me this quote today. I think that it's so perfect for this energy. I don't fear the man who does 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man that does one kick 10,000 times, right? The person that sticks with that one thing and gets really good at it. That is the person that gains the mastery, that identification, that repeating over time. That is what is going to create mastery in any skill. And so what we have to do to build a skill is extended experimentation over time so that we can develop a clear understanding. Like, I'm practicing this every day. Is what I'm doing working? Is my pattern that I'm doing every day, is that making me a better piano player? You know, it's like maybe I have this teacher and I don't learn anything for like a year. At the end of that year, I can be like, okay, I've seen enough. This pattern isn't going to take me into the future. I have to find a new teacher. I have to find a better pattern. And then maybe a year of doing that pattern, I get much better at playing the piano. And so it's really about over time. You really get to see what works. Maybe you thought something was working, but it really wasn't. And you get to see that through time. And the whole goal is to prove or disprove the validity of the pattern. So if this pattern works, I'll become a better piano player. And that proves it. And if it doesn't, I won't. And that proves it. And it's like we need valid patterns so that we can actually move into the future in safe ways, like as a humanity. And so with this deep frustration today, with our highest and lowest wave, accept and allow life as it is. Accept and allow yourself as you are. Accept and allow the people around you as they are. If you can just accept and allow what's happening now, you can make it to the next moment. You know, emotions can't kill us. Like, as long as we're accepting and allowing them, we are made to process and filter them. But if we are resisting them, blaming ourselves for them, you know, that can be very harmful. And so accept and allow the emotions that move through your body, the thoughts that move through your mind. You don't have to be responsible for them. You can just watch them and let them come in and let them go out. For today, get into your processes, build your skills, do your things, do your repeating, your mastery, work with superior forces so that you can fill your cup and break down those barriers in yourself and others. I hope you guys have a great day today. I'll be back on Wednesday. Bye, guys.